Good evening, guys. Welcome back. We are in semi-final of today's Champions Club. And in the semi-final this time round, we have Omega Gaming facing off against Team Legendary, also known as Crew2k. We followed these guys a few times for last week's Go for LOL. And we just watched OG taking out another German side. I can't figure it out. So let's pick up our champion select screen. We are into the picks and bans. And we see a Tarek ban, which I find very interesting. We've seen a few supports banned this evening, actually. Janna, Soraka, Tarek, that have now all been in the ban pool. And on behalf of Omega, they've removed Morgana and Karthus. They removed AP mid's last game as well. So that's very interesting. Maybe, you know, the AP mid player, I believe it was Baraka, yes, because he was playing Morgana. Maybe, you know, wants to play a particular champion and just wants to get rid of some counters. And you know what? Karthus is just incredibly annoying to deal with. And of course, keep in mind that Crew2k, wearing the blue trunks on the left-hand side, they do get first pick. They have options. They get to call dibs on the most OP champion available that was not banned. So Tarek and Janna being banned by Crew2k. Moving two supports, so that leaves Soraka, Lulu. That would really be the last two, really. I don't know if I'm forgetting anybody. Soraka, Lulu. Someone help me in chat. What are the supports there? I know you could go Blaze Lady Karma. Not sure. So we'll have to see what they want to pick or what the supports are going to be. And Lance Butez, I think that sounds French. I like it. I think it's French. Locking in Shen. Could be Shen top lane. Could be Shen jungle. What we'll be doing for this game as well. Sona, that's right. Sona as well. I have forgotten about her. With that stupid crescendo. And Leona. And Nunu. Yes, all the aggressive supports. All the aggressive supports. It was brain fart. It was like pressure, pressure, pressure. Think of a name and yeah, I just choked. So Dr. Mundo was the last ban, which I'm quite happy to see. I like Dr. Mundo. I don't know, just throwing cleavers all day. That's all there is, you know? Throwing cleavers. So there we go. As we mentioned already, we do have a Nunu. I believe that's locked in as well. Yes, it is. Giggle and the Jondo rocking the Nunu and Kog'Maw, which I really like. Kog'Maw, Bio-Arcane Barrage with the Blood Boil. You can then throw out the Void Ooze as well as the Snowball from Nunu. And just the amount of slow in conjunction with the attack speed bonus, in conjunction with the percentage damage from Bio-Arcane, they are going to be hitting very, very hard, even without items, you know, just on their base values alone. Now, I carry Dat, insert rude word, looking like he's going to pick the Soraka. So, in terms of your support, your sustain heals, you've sort of got Alistair available, you've got Soraka, you've got Sona. Opting to go for Soraka, the global ability is very, very powerful. Wish can be tossed around. Lance Butters is pronounced like it's written. Yeah, I don't like that. He's going to be Lance Butters. Let's have some fun with it. If he's offended, if Lance is offended, then I'll call him Lance. But I think Lance Butters is more dramatic. So they have locked in Soraka and Nocturne. So we can assume Nocturne's going to be chilling in the jungle. Shen most likely going top lane. And that I like. I like seeing the Vorpal Swords, the Shadow Dash. We now have Udyr and Warwick being locked in. Or potentially locked in. For the players, if anybody is in the stream, or is watching the stream, please don't panic or don't stress. When we hit the last 1 minute of loading time, I will bring up the ladder and I will cover the game screen. So you can change your summoner spells, you can move them around, just to make sure nobody can see what's happening. So 4 seconds left, 3 seconds left, and let's see, are we going to have a Warwick and an Udyr? Shagnaria chilling with that Udyr, and it is locked in. I'm really happy about that. I need to get a bit more excited about Man Bear Pig, because I didn't call him a Man Bear Pig once in the previous game, and I'm very disappointed with myself for that. So it does leave AP mids available, and we're going to see a Soraka Graves on bottom is not too bad. It does end up being a slightly more defensive lane until Graves is able to get some attack damage. Once Graves does pick up that AD, the additional AD items, BF Sword, or maybe the likes of a Wriggles Lantern or something like that, he's able to burst, and after all of that discussion, Sabi's going to troll me and now consider going Ash. Oh, nope, going back to Graves. See, you heard the guidance, heard the channel, heard the love. So who's it going to be? 10 seconds left. Got to decide on a AD carry for that bot lane. And truth be told, any of them are fantastic. You've got a lot of global ultimates though, if it was going to be Ashe. Because of course, Stand United from Shen, Wish from Soraka. I don't want to call it global, but you know, continental Paranoia. And then, of course, Destiny, again, continental challenges, continental abilities. Now, we've got Twisted Fate has been locked in. So we know Twisted Fate is going to be in the mid lane. He's going to be chilling, tossing out those wild cards, using that picker card. And it looks like another Anivia. Where do we see? We see Anivia previous game, I think. Unless I'm mistaken. Yes, but that was on behalf of the opponents in the previous game. Clan Search, that was it. Sorry for forgetting your names for a second there. 20 seconds left before Anivia does get locked in. And as soon as that is locked in, I will pull up the game ladder so we can show you who's going to be playing in the semi-finals. And to answer the question regarding the studio, it's not actually mine. It's the company that I work for. And they're awesome enough to let me stay late and stream League of Legends. So Anivia has been locked in. And we're now into the 1 minute free. So as promised, guys, I just want to hide those summoner spells. I just want to hide the ability to predict what's happening. And we've got an all-German semi-final today. OG, Omega Gaming, I don't know what the rest of it stands for, facing off against Team Legendary, also known as Crew2k. So let's have a quick look at the teams. Omega Gaming, we had a look at this a few seconds ago, but it is customary to just double-check at the beginning of a game. A lot of play, a lot of cups being involved in. I'm fairly certain, I don't play the ESL ladders, so somebody who does this little block tell me that they are ranked second? I'm fairly sure that's what it actually does mean. I don't really know what that means. Either way, it says they've got a lot of stuff. So they are ranked second in the 5v5 ladder, and of course, it means they're particularly good. Team Completely Legendary, also known as Crew2k, played a few cups. We followed them in, I think, the last Champions Club. Played against a couple of big-name teams and really do well. Was very, very impressed with their double AP setup the previous time that we streamed their games. Now, the opposing side, which is the secondary semi-final, and of course, one of these teams is going to be jumping into the grand final. Team Impressive, they're chilling around as well. They've been around a while, got a few different awards. They've placed pretty high in the Champions Club, as you know, previously, etc. Sitting 15th on the ladder, and way too strong with Bruce Lee. I almost called him Jackie Chan. That is disgusting. So Bruce Lee, again, several clubs playing, etc., etc. So let's see what happens in today's game. I am fairly certain that the 1 minute is over. So let's jump back into it, and it is. We managed to kill a minute and a half. So in that minute and a half time, we've seen a few champions swapping. Not necessarily unexpected. Well, actually it is, because I would have assumed Udia would have gone top. Udia is considered a counter to Shen. Let's have a look. I don't know if the stream is there or not there. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to quickly restart the live stream. And for everybody that's on the VOD, don't worry too much about that. Restarted stream. So we'll wait for the video stream to get back up. We'll reload the chat and get back to the actual game, get back to talking what's going on. Udia is considered a counter to Shen because of the fact that he can sustain through any damage that Shen puts out. He's able to, there we go, refresh stream for fix. He's able to stun Shen, lock him up, and if he starts maxing out his Phoenix stance, can really put a lot of damage down, can really put a lot of hurting down. So I have no idea what's wrong with this stream at the moment. Let's change a scene. There we go. Yay! We are finally back. Sorry about that, guys. I do apologize. I have no idea what actually happened. If your stream is only hearing audio or similar, just do a reboot refresh of the stream and you'll be back A for away. We are in Champion Select. We are in the 3-minute countdown, down to the last 45 seconds. And all I've said so far is I think Yuria beat Shen. They're not even fighting against one another. It's actually going to be Atom Fred and Warwick at top, facing off against Sabi, being played by Shen. In the jungles, Yuria versus Nocturne. Mid, we're going to have Anivia against Twisted Fate. And that's going to be an interesting one because I think Twisted Fate can actually kill Anivia as long as he gets some poke down from the wild cards. He's going to need to put some long-range wildcard damage down, get the hit points low enough to actually commit for a kill. Bottom lane, it's going to be hyper-aggression against hyper-defensive. Once Kog'Maw and Nunu do dive forward and do start pushing for a kill, Soraka's going to throw that Astral Blessing and it's going to give a massive chunk of armor to Graves. The thing that's going to be very scary is once Crew2k lock or hit level 6, they are going to be able to just move around this map like you cannot believe. And once again, Crew2k pulling out the epic skins. We have Musketeer Twisted Fate. He's one of the Musketeers. I don't know why, but when I see this particular image, it makes me think of an animated mouse Musketeer. That's just what comes to mind, a cute, fluffy little mouse. Of course, Mafia Graves there, as well as Mr. Scorpion, aka Shen. So once we start hitting the global ultimate stage of the game, that's when things really start getting worrying and really start getting shaky for Omega, because their team is not very mobile. You've got Anivia that can gank, that can be very effective if she roams, but has to leave lane, has to move. Sabi can use Stand United on anybody, anywhere on the map, prevents damage, gives a damage shield, moves him up the map. It means Shen can continually split push, continually be applying pressure on other lanes, and still have a presence in team fights. So I want to see how this is going to work out. I want to see whether or not Crew2k can actually pull off a lot of the global ultimate ganks. And I like seeing Twisted Fate as well. The Koreans used him fantastically well in the on-game net challenge, and it was one of the most successful champions to be played. So Baraka's moving forward. The flash goes out. Flash from Max Fidelity at the very last second. Good decision to do so. Good decision to just get out of the way of that stun, because if the stun had landed, it would quite possibly have been first blood. So we're going to follow Anivia just for a few seconds. I'm going to spam some messages on IRC. And we are into the semi-final of today's Champions Club. Wearing the blue trunks, Crew2k from Germany. Wearing the purple trunks, we have... it's red trunks, sorry. In colorblind mode, it's red trunks. We have, of course, Omega Gaming. I think it was Omega Gaming DT. I'll have to ask them what that stands for, and I'll put it on the YouTube description. So, Max Fidelity on Nocturne. He is starting off on the red buff. Picks up the Wraith there. A bit of a giggle coming out from Soraka. That's quite a menacing giggle, actually. I don't think I've ever heard that one. Max Fidelity moving forward, putting a lot of damage down. He'll pop the smite there to pick up the blue buff in just a few seconds. On the counterpart, Shagnira picks up his Ancient Golem buff. And that flying birdie is running through the jungle. I also noticed, if anybody watches Naruto, the anime, that's exactly how the ninjas run. I suppose any anime, it's very similar. Arms in the back. Or maybe he's a ninja. It would explain the forms as well. Kung Fu Ninja. So, Lance Butez moving forward. I'm going to figure out what that snowball is called. It's an ice blast. It's not a snowball. So, it's a giant ice cube. It is a giant ice cube. And yeah, ninjas apparently flail their arms behind themselves. Except for Shen. Shen thinks he's Count Dracula. He's got an imaginary cloak. Look at the way he's walking. Imaginary cloak up in front of his face. That's exactly what it is. You will not see me. I've come to suck your blood. 3,700 gold, 3,700 gold. We're 2.5 minutes in, and nothing exciting has happened, hence the fact I'm calling Shen a vampire. Now, Nacon playing Twisted Fate. We watched him playing Lulu a few seconds ago. Dodges the Flash Frost, so no stun. He's going to move forward, uses the mana card. Of course, he's tossing out the wild card, so here comes Nacon. The wall goes out, a brilliant flash into stun. Is Flash Frost available, though? It unfortunately isn't. Shagner takes so much damage under the turret. Dustbringer does get missed from Max Fidelity. He moves forward, lands a brilliant Umbra Blades. This red buff is now slowly ticking over. He doesn't have the hit points to be able to chase. And unfortunately, only chunks down the hit points. So no kill coming from that. But nice presence, nice timing to be able to at least force the Yudia Nivea back. I think Yudia had waited maybe a second longer, waited for Flash Frost to come off cooldown. A secondary stun could potentially have at least led to, more kills. A commitment on maybe the Ignite, just getting that extra damage out there. 17 CS in the mid to 13, so there's a 4 advantage. It's a grand total of 80 gold, or, 1 ward. And I'm just keeping an eye at the minute. With that Blood Boil on, the attack damage on the John Doe goes to an even 1. And that'll start going up as well. I believe his Bio Arcane also gives him attack speed. No, it's that Caustic Spittle, sorry. His Q gives him a passive attack speed as well. So, combining the passive from that, as well as the Blood Boil, it's really going to give him a very, very powerful steroid at this early stage in the game. 1 point in all 3 abilities. We'll have to see how he starts maxing out, and very unlucky for Sabi, opting to move forward. Now, there's no flash available for Shag, so Sabi's going to move forward. Shadow Dash does, but the bear slap does land. It just isn't enough damage or enough crowd control, so one turret shot does hit Shag. He is forced backwards. A very nice timing from Sabi, opting to save that Shadow Dash until the very last second. But unfortunately for Sabi, the animation had been drawn, so it was sort of like a Bluetooth bear slap. Even though Sabi wasn't right next to the fist, it still hit. 2 points into Buckshot, nothing out of the usual for Graves. I'd like to see where Cogmon puts his next point. It's going to be Bio Arcane. I don't know why I'm pretending it's not. But going to start putting some points into that Bio Arcane barrage. Farming under the tower, particularly difficult at low levels with no items. Not too bad from the John Doe. Picking a few of them up, quite a few of them actually. And very good timing, showing he's played quite a bit of Cogmore. As he's hit level 4, and look at the range in that Bio Arcane. The Astral Blessing comes out, bumps up Graves' armor to 101. In conjunction with True Grit, that's going to be so difficult. And once again, the Bluetooth bear slap locks Sabi up for a couple of seconds. But Phoenix stance on Yudia, just not enough to deal that damage to pick up the kill. And no commitment from Warwick. But there's no Ignite. He's gone Teleport Flash to try and counter the map presence of Shen. And that Stand United. And the damage onto the John Doe. Not having support, not having heal. Shag's moving forward. There goes the stun card from Nacon. Means he's not going to get locked up under, not going to lock Shag up under the tower. But it does prevent the bear step, the bear slap. And good comment on chat. The Bio Arcane, it does deal magic damage for the percentage proc. And that is very true. But keep in mind that it's still attack damage going through as well. So mitigating at least, call it 2/3 or half of the damage from having that passive armor buff from Astral Blessing is very, very useful. And True Grit, of course, adds 1 bonus armor and magic resist up to 10 times at this level. It will get higher as well as he starts to level up and get closer towards the higher levels. So no first blood yet, 7 minutes in, and Crew2k do have a 1,000 gold lead. We can consider, or we can evaluate that the lead comes from the Yudia ganks, because Yudia has been present in lane. Or no, actually they're behind on gold. Another Yudia, and there goes the Flash Frost. We're going to throw the Frostbite. Ignite's going to come on. That's going to be a very good first blood. Very, very good first blood. I was completely silly and got it backwards. Yudia has been trying to gank, and he's on the side that is below on gold. So they're just being out-farmed. Bottom lane by 10. Mid lane by, well, it was around about 10. Top lane as well. Pretty even. Jungle, Phoenix stance Yudia, 34 creep score to 50 on Nocturne. Are the gold per 5s yet? Interesting. So it was just that, small advantage in that portion of the game. Yudia finally picking up first blood. Finally being able to combo those stun locks. The bear slap into the Flash Frost was all that was needed. Twisted Fate is a fairly squishy champion. Doesn't have a lot of natural resist, and he does get taken out very quickly, as you've seen. So first blood is down at the 8-minute mark. And we normally start seeing teams setting up for Drake around about the 12 minutes. But with having both Warwick and Yudia as junglers, they're both fairly effective at taking out Dragon. They've both got very good damage. They'll both be working towards the likes of a Wriggle's Lantern. So that'll be going down if they opt to do something like it, especially with the fact that Atom Fred has got Flash. teleport. So he's got the ability to move down there immediately for a team fight and move down there exactly when they want to start pushing for Dragon. Sabi's maxing out Vorpal Blade, which is the standard on Shen. Of course, it does a fair amount of damage and starts to grow quite impressively as you gain more hit points. And this middle lane really under a lot of pressure now. Barokar using every last point of mana to put damage down. And we have Max Fidelity snuck up into this bush. There goes the Paranoia. The ultimate from Shen coming down as well, so that's going to be able to do a Shadow Dash taunt. The Jondo goes down. Huge damage. Twisted Fate's even teleporting in for this one. Not even going to be needed. Double kill. One for Graves, one for Shen. That's going to immediately open up for Dragon. Either going to take the tower or Dragon, and that's going to be moving forward. And all of those ultimates just in one lane. Twisted Fate coming down. He just wanted to join the party. He just wanted to see the spectacle firsthand. Really difficult to deal with. So, Anivia and Udia, they want to move forward. They want to try and at least delay this. Consider a Flash Steal. Flash Frost comes out. Unfortunately, Udia couldn't get in range, and he actually didn't even have anything available. Teleport was used by Atom Fred, so he's going to be trying to get in range for the Infinite Duress. There goes the Flash into best on stun. Silence is out. Stun does go down onto Udia. There's now an Infinite Duress that has been popped. Massive amounts of damage onto Nocturne, but the Wish was used from Soraka. Did manage to save his life. And these hit points melted. Hit points disappeared before our eyes. Under the effects of Infinite Duress, and under the effects of the Phoenix Stance and the Tiger Stance as well. Oh man, I just clicked on you. Oh, not even any points of Tiger. It's just the Phoenix Stance. So Phoenix Stance and sitting there just chilling, attacking with the, is it Hunter's Call? The attack speed buff, compliments of Atom Fred. They almost got Nocturne. Almost got him down. Summon a heal and Wish both used in that team fight. You never mind using an ultimate or a summoner to pick up that gold. Now, we're keeping an eye on this middle lane at the moment. Twisted Fate, see how many creep kills he can pick up. And huge creep wave coming the way of Graves in just a few seconds. We have a momentary break. Let's have a look at gold so far. 3,300 on gold on Graves to the 2,500 on Cogmore. So that's a pretty big advantage. TF in the middle, 2.7 to 2.9 on Anivia. Shen on top, 2.9 to 2.6 on Warwick. So it sort of balances themselves out, both of them that way. Now Lance Butter is moving forward onto the Jondo. The quick draw into 2 auto attacks. Jondo's taking so much damage, and he can't reply. He can't. There's no heal. There's no sustain. You tend to see these sorts of lanes going the ways of a Wriggles Lantern, just to mitigate the burst that can be put out by Graves. And of course to get that sustain, to get some health back through auto-attacking. And, yep, exactly like you're saying on chat, these are sort of, regular teams. They're not professional sides, and people only really care about that. So there goes a very nice Shadow Dash. Sabi playing very patient, very controlled. And Atom Fred not having Infinite Duress. Oh, it was actually available. I lied to you. I apologize for that. Opting not to move forward. I think the creep score at this minute is slightly more important. 84 creeps. There's a 30 lead. So Atom Fred just trying to farm his way into this game, just trying to get as much gold as he can, working towards those items, opting to finish the Mercury trades first, before going GP5, before going, Wit's End or Wriggles Lantern, for example. So we're going to have to see what he decides to spend his money on. He is currently sitting on 1,600 gold, so that could be a Wriggles outright, potentially. And let's keep an eye on how these lanes are going. 2-1, 2,000 gold the advantage. Lance Butaz just out-farming Cogmore at the minute. 20 CS advantage. Middle lane, small advantage for Anivia. Top lane, decent advantage for Warwick. Giggle has been spotted by the ward. UD is opting to try the grass gank. He's opting to come into this lane through there. And unfortunately, there's a ward, so we don't know if this will, this is really going to pay off. Sitting with an Oracle's Elixir on board, waiting to drink it, and we do have Nocturne in the bottom as well. It's so difficult when you don't know that. When you don't know somebody is so close. You are ready to jump in and commit to a fight. So let's see if Yudi is going to come through. Oh, beautiful from the Jondo. Sixth Sense. He heard me saying it. Keep in mind we're 3 minutes behind. He actually can't hear me saying it. But psychic powers on the Jondo. Lands a living artillery. Bang on the hand of Nocturne. So Shag has drank that Wriggles potion, Wriggles Lantern. that's going to allow him to start clearing out these wards, start giving some vision control to his team. And if you can clear out the wards and reduce the vision of your opponents, you can make more accurate and more informed decisions. So, very, very good, but of course, it is a 400 gold investment. Recurve bow has been picked up by Warwick on the top lane. And a ruby crystal. So we'll see what he wants to start working towards, but definitely out-farming Shen. Shen does, however, have a GP5. Heart of Gold is slowly ticking over. Slowly giving him the gold he needs. Ward on Dragon from Lance. Remember, guys, wards win games. It doesn't matter if you're the support. It doesn't matter if you're the carry. But you've got to stick to the basics. Wards win games, and then you notice Lance Butez running up, putting a ward on Dragon, 14-minute mark, you know stuff's about to happen, and look at the damage from Buckshot. Double Dorans and Berserker's Greaves, along with 10% armor pen, and that just pew-pewed all their hit points. 2,200 gold, so my assumption is, oh, listen to the sound effect. There we go, just that little cling, that little ding, ding, ding. Oh, it's so beautiful. So excuse the fanboyism. I come from a first-person shooter background, so I have to appreciate the bang-bang noises. UD is moving into this bot lane now. He's got oracles up, so that's the ward cleared out. So that at least it informs the Crew2k players that something's happening. And this looks very familiar, doesn't it? Double buff max fidelity, and he dodges the living artillery. That is so key. That is so, so important. Whether or not the John... Oh, there's the ward. So, unfortunately, nothing's going to come of that. And of course, not having Oracle's Elixir on Nocturne means he can't clear that ward out. Can't remove that vision. It's always going to be there. Sabi, Scorpion, Dracula, Scorpion up in this top lane. He be chilling. Running around. Farm-wise, 86 to the 120 of Warwick. Atom Fred is really farming well. Really, really doing impressively. Found out it was 120 creep score per 10 minutes, I believe is the numbers. I'm trusting you, Technolink. So... at those averages, he's sitting in around 7 or so per minute. It's very, very high. So, doing a very good job of farming, and of course, putting pressure on Shen, or, you know, shutting down the farm of your opponent is always an impressive thing to do as well. So, 3 points into Blood Scent, only the 1 into Hunter's Call so far. Warwick really wanting to get that attack speed boost, really wanting to, the movement speed boost to be able to stick to his opponents. Dragon is going down now. Now we're going to have to see whether or not we're going to see a Paranoia steal from Max Fidelity. There goes the Paranoia. He's dived in, and unfortunately isn't going to be enough to pick up the Dragon. Smite is untimed. Exhaust goes down. He does manage to flash away, though, and the damage coming up from Twisted Fate just destroys the hit points there of Udia. Ignite is going to be enough to pick up the kill. Now Nunu's going to go down in the background. There is a teleport in coming in from Warwick, so he's moving forward. Nunu gets taken down in the background. Hunter's Call is down on Atom... was activated for Atom Fred, so he's got the speed boost. He is going to flash forward, activates the ultimate onto I carry Dat, and one more Hungering Strike, but gets silenced, taunted by Shen, and the silence means he can't use the Hungering Strike to actually pick up the final kill. 3 kills in favor of 1 Dragon, and that makes it a little bit less worthwhile. That makes it a little bit less awesome, because there's going to be a bunch of assists involved in there. 1,000 gold in comparison to 750 to 850 gold. 3 kills and maybe 3 to 5 assists, ballpark. You know, it's going to work out quite, pretty close and pretty even. It has also given Twisted Fate 2 assists there, so that those 2 assists will put him very, very close to his needlessly large rod. I do tend to see Twisted Fates going for the triple Dorans plus Lichbane, or opting to go straight for Lichbane. Lance puts us there. He's used his collateral damage, trying to pick up a kill onto Cogmore. And look at the power of that Void, who's really slowing him down. Bear Stance is out. Phoenix Stance is ticking away as well. And now Shag is going to fall back. No points into Tiger just yet. He's not a Tiger just at this point in time. And of course, that is where most of UD's damage, most of his killing ability really comes from. Top lane at the moment, a level advantage for Atom Fred. The compliments of his farm. He has finished his Wit's End, and he's got the Ruby Crystal. It's maybe going to go Frozen Mallet. Maybe it's Phage. I can't even remember all the things that build out of a Ruby Crystal, so we'll have to see what Atom Fred decides to do. The first turret of the game is going to be the bottom one. And we see Graves going for the Infinity Edge start. He has a pickaxe and the BF sword, as opposed to Cogmore, who's relying on his Bioarcane Barrage at this point in time. And I suppose you can, considering the armor buff that is awarded to Graves from Astral Blessing. And look at the damage with Bioarcane Barrage. It really does a lot. And let's have a quick look at the armor. 183 armor before max stacks on True Grit. That's with the bonus armor from Soraka. It gives you an idea of just how powerful that is. It gives you an idea of just what a difference it makes going to that high of a number. 4-1 in kills, 4,000 gold difference, 3,000 gold difference, sorry. I forgot how to count for a few seconds. And Nikon has decided he wants the ability power. Doesn't want to go for things. So Sabi moves forward. There's a bear stun to the face. Shadow dash away. Atomfred does have infinite duress, but you don't use infinite duress to initiate a fight unless you know you're going to kill him. Right? Unless you know there's enough damage to follow it up. It needs to be saved for the execution ability. It needs to be saved for once damage has been done. And Shen's very first item, Randian's Omen. And again, that also makes very, very good sense. The attack speed buff from Nunu, the movement speed that he's going to be able to give a carry, the fact that Cogmore, Warwick, and Udyr all rely on attack speed and movement speed to stay in place. There comes the Paranoia. There's a Twisted Fate coming in as well. He lands the gold card, stunned Atomfred. Atomfred's going to consider infinite duress, opting not even thinking about it. There was no point, but that moment where you go, right, should I use that ultimate, blow the cooldown? It was never going to save the life, so no point. Keeping an eye on this top lane now. There might be another turret going down. In the meantime, Udyr and Anivia are going to be pushing the mid turret. Will they be able to take it though? Yep, that's a super, super low turret. So Shag was able to take that turret. It's going to be a turret trade, top for middle. But it does put the advantage in, at least map-wise, for Crew2k. And the pings on Baron at the moment, and this is a 20-minute Baron. They really need Graveset to be able to do this damage, I feel. Yeah, they've got the decent amount, but they're going to have to start mitigating some of this DPS. Udyr and Anivia know about it. They see there's a ward there as well. They still haven't taken out. Well, that was very confusing. So that ward had just gone down. There we go. That had just gone down, and it was picked up. Punched in the face. I thought there was oracles. I got very confused. So, clearing out the wave, using that Glacial Storm in conjunction with Flash Frost, it just really destroys waves. Once Anivia gets blue buff, and once she starts building up some mana, ROA and a tier as well, that's going to really help just to keep that Glacial Storm up and running. And the combination of the two is just such a powerful wave clear. It's exactly what I was talking about. Farm-wise as well, 179 to 158 on Twisted Fate. Ooh, that rhymed. Top lane, 119 to 175. Cogmore, 160 to 190. He's also 0-1-0, whereas Graves is 1-0-1. Twisted Fate comes in. There's the flash. Gold card does land on the John Doe. He's put the Void Ooze on himself. It's a very smart move. Collateral damage is going to be enough. But the twist, the wild cards is the final tick of damage. Shen managing to catch that taunt at the maximum range. Duskbringer, it is Duskbringer. It is Duskbringer. That goes out. Does land. Paranoia's been popped. He dives forward. And the Exhausted Return, the Crystallize prevents anybody else getting in there. Now Nunu's committing to a fight. Manages to get about halfway through the channel before popping it. The stun does land onto Nacon. And now he's the one that's in trouble. He does get a gold card up, so the next attack is going to go down. Shen taunts Udyr, pulls him off him immediately. But just so tentative, so nervous. Soraka wasn't even in that fight. That was a 4 versus 4. And now they're going for Dragon. Double wards going down, so a little bit of a misclick there. Stun onto Shen, and they should not be focusing Shen. There goes the Astral Blessing. Wish is still available, and the damage onto Nunu has just destroyed his health bar. The first one to go down is Anivia. No rebirth. No way to survive 5 members of Crew2k bashing you in the head. And that's going to be a Dragon. Shag thinking about going for the steal, thinking about moving forward. Dustbreaker lands. The wild cards land as well. And it's just removing chunks of hit points. Decimating their life totals. There's no other way to say it. So mid tower is going to be lost for this one, unfortunately. Not having the hit points, not having the champions available to defend it, does mean that it's going to go down. And there was a prediction earlier saying that compliments of the global ultimates, that's what's going to win the game. And so far, it's definitely looking that way. It's definitely looking like that presence. Shen, every time Shen has used Stand United, he's been involved in a kill or an assist. Every time that Paranoia's jumped on somebody with Paranoia, or Nocturne's jumped on someone with Paranoia, that was the words I was trying to find, he's also managed to at least be involved. 005. Ooh, that was a bit fast. 304 on Shen. Out of the 7 kills, Shen has been involved in every single one of them. Every single. Just consider that for a second. Every single kill, Stand United has been used in some form or another. Or at least his Shadow Dash. And Nivea, Borrow Car, clearing out waves, farming like a bouse. We can look at the gold graphs while we have a small break in the action. 6k on Cogmore. Where is Graves? 8,500 on Graves. 2,000 gold difference. BF Sword plus Vamp Scepter. That's the difference in just, you know, item-wise. Mid lane, 8,200 to 6,800. That's nearly, what's that, a needlessly large rod? Yeah, call that a needlessly large rod. Oh, excuse me. On top of all of that, you now have Shen in the top lane, 7,500 to the 6,800 gold, and he's 70 creeps behind. 70 CS behind, and he has more gold. Compliments of the dragons, compliments of the kills, and no, it was compliments of the kills. That's really where it comes from. So we're thinking about moving forward. Almost face checked the bush. You should never, never, never face check, guys. Face checks kill, wards win games, and face checks lose games. Borrowcar's blue buff nearly down to half. His Rod of Ages is pretty much maxed out. Yep. That is up to 10 times. No, halfway maxed out. So that's going to be getting close. Going to be making him even tankier. And he should be sitting on a fair chunk of gold, actually. 1,400, so almost there for the needlessly large. We'll maybe go Rod of Ages. Either complete the Rod of Ages or potentially pick up a needlessly large rod, go for a death cap, and just keep stacking up that tier of the goddesses as much as he can. The Oracle's Elixir is sitting on Soraka at the moment. So iCarry is responsible for clearing those wards. And let's see what happens right now. The long-range stun does land on iCarry, and unfortunately not having an Oracle's Elixir means Crew2k know exactly where Clanless are. So now they're falling back. Paranoia is available, and I'm just waiting for that noise. I'm waiting for the darkness. Max Fidelity's going to dive in, and he has done it every single time. He's going to be able to dive in, commit to a fight, get targeted by Stand United, and all Shen's going to do is say, hey, what's up, guys? Shadow Dash, taunt a whole bunch of them, and pull them back. 520 damage crits from Graves already, and he's only got the Zeal. And it's just, it's starting to be scary. It's starting to hit the point where there is no room for error. Because if Omega do not start winning some team fights, there comes a flash, and immediately counter flash from Twisted Fate. Knew what was coming, knew that he'd been caught, knew that he was going to be in trouble. And as Warwick flashed forward, Nikon just said, I'm not having any of that. Nikon just jumped all the way backwards. So that has forced Omega backwards, forced Omega back out of the lane. They've gone back into the jungle, and they'll be chilling, they'll be farming, and it's slowed down. The pace of this game is so tentative right now. You can feel the nervousness, you can feel the trepidation. Should we go? Should we not go? Should we go? Should we not go? Cogmore opting to max out Void Ooze above his Caustic Spittle, which I find a little bit strange, considering he hasn't built any DPS items. So, yes, the utility factor of Void Ooze, the slow goes up, as well as the damage, the damage that it can deal. But when you're focusing on the fact that you need the Bioarcane Barrage procs to really do anything, I find it very strange not to max out that attack speed. On the flip side, though, he has a 1.5 attack speed base, and under the effects of Blood Boil, that does go up to 2. So that could also be the reason. So, yeah, that was what it is. The Blood Boil really is the primary factor for that. So now we do have Baron going down. Whoop, I clicked the wrong button there. Baron is melting a little bit quicker this time round. 6,800 gold. Will we be able to see any steals this time round? It was the Crusau, if I remember correctly. Brilliantly said, picking up two Baron Nashor steals in a single game. First time with his Q, and then the second time with a brilliantly timed smite. Shen nearly a max level. And once again, it's just that passive farming, it's that play-by-numbers gameplay. And once you hit the mid-game and teams are not completely out of it, they're just trying their best to hold their ground and not give away more than they have to. That's really where this pressure is coming from. And a lot of pings on Dragon, so Crew2k are moving there. Dragon is going to go down very, very quickly against this side. Graves is now putting out huge amounts of damage. Phantom Dancer and Infinity Edge. There goes the Paranoia. Paranoia lands all the way. Oh, there it finally dashes. Collateral damage and the buckshot goes out. Nunu gets a very, very big charge in his ultimate, but it's just not enough damage with no ability power. Nocturne is down and Nivea has been egged, but there was no one to focus on Nivea, so she's now been reborn. Manages to stand. Lance Boutez throws out that Flash Frost and the Frostbite. The damage onto Lance is really, really big at the moment. And Warwick is using that speed boost to get there as quickly as he can. Quick Draw is going to dash him forward. Finally, Stand United comes up. And it wasn't even used during the course of that fight. 1 versus 1 now. And the next target is Anivia without having an egg available, without being able to go back to that Easter egg form. Does finally die. Shen is now beating on Cogmore. Shen wants to trigger that Echithian surprise, wants to blow Cogmore up. Cogmore flashes over the wall, gets to safety. Shen is now trying to turn his attention to the rest of the team. And it looks like while everyone is dying around them, these two top laners just do not care. Constantly poking one another in the face, constantly throwing out Hungering Strike and Vorpal Blades and dashing and taunting and howling like wolves, but max health and they can't really kill one another. Unstoppable force versus an immovable object. What are you going to do? So Dragon did go the way of Crew2k, and for the first time, OG didn't look too bad in terms of the team fight. There was a little bit of lack of focus, and of course the slight overcommitment from Nocturne may have been cause for that, but they can win team fights. If they pick the right fight and they focus the right champions, they can win them. Cogmore, of course, now with being involved in some of that, has picked up a BF sword and the pickaxe. So finally his damage is going to start being a little bit more comparable, having both magic damage and the physical damage as well. So let's see what starts to happen now. Are Crew2k going to turn their focus to the likes of a split pushing focus game where they're going to allow the use of teleport and Stand United to determine when team fights take place? Or are they just going to keep roaming as 5? I mean, they still have a 9,000 gold lead. They've got a turret advantage. They've got map advantage in terms of vision. Not so much in the aggressive team. They got a little bit of vision on their side. Same on the reply from OG. So I'd like to see what happens. There goes the Flash Frost. Flash Frost was going to land, but I could hear the flashes being used. So who was it that actually popped that? That was a Twisted Fate once again. Being caught by the Crystallize, or at least on the wrong side of Crystallize, and then diving away. Unfortunately, the scoreboard was up, so I couldn't quite cover that as quickly as I hoped. 10-4 is the score. And let's see what is happening with the rest of this game. Also got text commenting over here. I'm not 100%. Oh, right. So that's on the chat from absolutely epic fan. Really, really good, awesome, legendary guy. Technolink, thank you for tuning in, and thank you for providing the color commentary, parts that I'm missing out on. It's difficult to look at the chat over there and the game over here, so I'm tending not to do it. Living Artillery is going to give vision. The Flash Frost on Borokar, that's going to at least trigger the attacks from Baron Nashor. So Baron Nashor is just going to be doing a little bit of DPS on behalf of OG, and now we got Paranoia forward. Atomfed does have Infinity Race. He's going to have to use it at some point. He jumps onto Soraka, who was at full health and not necessarily the best target. First one to go down. Now they've turned their attention to Shen, so Shen has actually gone down. The very, very tanky top laner. Graves is blown up in the background. The slow comes up from Absolute Zero. That's going to channel and actually melt the hit points of the remaining champions. And it's a 3-for-4 trade at the moment, with Cogmore going to be blown up. There we go. Actually, that was 4-for-4, so I apologize. And now we've got a support battle. Soraka wants the kill. There goes the Shirley's Reverie, tossing those bananas. Come on, iCarry. Go nom some bananas. Throw the bananas in the Yeti's face. And very interestingly, the supports are the ones that survive. It's not very often that you see a support on support right at the very end. Normally they're the squishiest. Normally they're the ones that get blown up very, very quickly. And what a great fight back and forth. Just as one team gets the advantage, they lose a champion, and it swings in completely the opposite direction. So, slightly better, but it feels a little late. I mean, it's only a 9,000 lead gold. Omega are still in this. They're winning team fights, and they're buying the time that they need. Remember just how effectively Cogmore scales and how UDS scales, and Anivia and Warwick. The longer the game goes, the more powerful these champions become. On the flip side, Graves and Nocturne are going to start falling off. Graves is always going to have his burst. Graves is always going to have that big chunk of damage that can be thrown out. But when you consider the likes of Zonya's Hourglass being built on Anivia, all the bonus hit points and Frozen Heart being built on Warwick, it's going to be mitigated. It's going to be reduced. So as Graves' burst starts to drop off, and Nocturne's survivability and ability to just dive in and amongst this entire team begins to be reduced, OG are in with a good chance here. Omega just need to delay and keep playing the game that they're doing. Yes, it's a 9,000 gold difference, but it's remained 9,000 for a very long time. Once again, starting Baron Nashor, putting some damage on him, and just taunting him to fight. Getting that giant worm to start beating people in the face. For comments about time regarding that it's 15 minutes past the time for the final, this is exactly what happened the last time I did Champions Club, and I actually got stuck here because all the trains had stopped. So with a bit of luck, that's not going to be the case this time round, because it sucked. It was very painful. Dragon has now respawned, and it looks like Shen wants to start it, but opting not to. He's completely alone. He's all alone. There's no one there beside him. So he's run away, and it looks like the first dragon is going to go the way of Omega Gaming. If it's not the first dragon, I have a terrible memory. We now have Destiny that has been used. Twisted Fate's going to consider using it. He's using it for vision. He wanted to know what they were doing. Wanted to see how close they were to picking up that dragon kill. And then playing the safe card, opting not to commit, and opting not to put himself in a terrible position. So, good decision not to use it. Farm-wise at the minute, 247 creep kills to the 229 on Anivia. We now also have Graves 261 to the 244 of Cog. Top lane 174 to 243 on Warwick. And our junglers, Nocturne chilling 197 and only 123 on Udyr. And that's very unusual for Udyr to be behind on farm, especially Phoenix Udyr. That is just so immense at clearing jungles. I think it's a testament to the play style. Shag, the previous game that we watched and in this game that we watched, is constantly in lanes. He's constantly doing that bear man pimp slap. Moving forward, getting as close as he can, and he swings that bear arm and locks you in place. So there comes the paranoia. Immediate flash from the Jondo. He is going to get feared, but now they've turned their attention to Max Fidelity. Max Fidelity did pick up a Stand United, so the taunt comes up from Shen, locks up a few champions. They blow up Udyr first. Absolute Zero comes up. That's another kill. Anivia is the third one to go down. This is going to turn Crew2k straight to Baron Nashor. And the ultimates, that's what cost Omega Gaming that turret and cost them the ability to pick up the turret. They pushed us 5. They were overextended past the river. They had nowhere to fall back to safely. And compliments of Paranoia and Stand United, what was a 4 versus 2, 4 versus 3, became a 5 versus 4 because Udyr just got blown up so quickly. Aegis of the Legion and Randion's Omen at the 40-minute mark, in comparison to Frozen Mallet, Wriggle's Lantern, Aegis of the Legion, and a Hex Drinker, that's a big gold difference. Udyr on 8,000 gold and 11,500 gold. 11,500 gold. And is that Gobbles or Goobles? I'm gonna go Gobbles because I don't like who Goobles was. So Gobbles123 says it's technically a palm thrust, in which case I'm now gonna make it Naruto, which means it was the Neji. What's the bloodline of Neji and Hinata? Oh, it's gonna bug me now. Some Naruto fan help. Hyuga! Thank you. The Hyuga style palm, block your chi, karma, whatever they want to call it, magic power. So, Twisted Fate, how much gold is he sitting on? 2,200 gold, 13,000 gold total. The only champion that's ahead of him thus far is Graves because he's got slightly more kills and assists. And I think he's picked up the killing spree bonuses as well. Byakugan is their eye power. It allows them to see the veins of force. And, of course, the coolest character in the game, or in the anime rather, is Uchiha Sasuke. I haven't tattooed on my arm. I'll show you after the stream. Yes, I have Sasuke tattooed on my arm for the 50 people watching going, what the hell? 17,800 is the kill score. 13,000 gold. For the first time, it's gone above 9,000. And now with the Baron buff on, Crew2k are much more aggressive. Crew2k are now forcing their way around the map. They are pushing themselves. You know, they're sitting going, we are ahead. We have the gold lead. We have the map control. We also have the Baron buff. So you make a mistake. They are forcing them to pick fights. They are forcing them to defend objectives. And if Omega are a little bit out of position, it's going to be punished. So let's see what's happening because they're waiting for the creep wave. No one wants to tank the turret while there are creeps up. And with Anivia on board, Anivia can clear those waves very, very quickly. So all that remains of that entire creep wave is the super creep, or the tank creep. And, of course, 2 little minions. Shame. What a dramatic death animation. I hope everybody's seen just how dramatic that is. So, let's see what happens for the time being. And exactly has been pointed out by Technolink. There is no sustain on their team. They have no way to heal up the wild cards that are being tossed out. They have no way to heal up the Vorpal Blades or the Duskbringers. And there's Shen now doing some split pushing. Shen sitting in the middle lane. Yes, Stan United available. Absolutely huge creep waves in both the middle lane and the bottom lane. Means that the creeps are pushing up and the creeps are doing the walk for the champions. And as Omega fall back to defend their lanes, they lose the top tower. So, unfortunately for them, you know, that delay, that stall, it still cost them a tower, and it even cost them the farm of those creeps, not being able to really defend it. Look at the damage that those wild cards are doing at the moment. Hitting for over nearly 600 damage before mitigation. And Anivia, while she has fairly high hit points, there's very low magic resist, only 57, so that's about a 30% damage reduction, and that's really not a lot at this point in the game. So now you can just see bottom lane is pushed, top lane is pushed, and they're just going to play the poke game. Crew2k are just going to sit playing the poke game, collateral damage even used to put even more pressure onto Anivia, force them back, force them to hit the fountain and regen. And it was alright, that was fairly good use of that Baron buff. They managed to get a tower out of it. They managed to split push the lanes quite significantly and earn themselves another 1,000 gold advantage. Dragon is up as well. So with the lanes... Oh, well, wait for them to actually get the dragon before we move there. So the problem is now that Omega have not committed. Omega are too far behind to be able to put pressure. And just the gameplay style of the team strategy, the team composition of having those global ultimates, having the ability to jump and move anywhere, and the same animation, that was quite cool. I think they might even be the same skeleton on the animations. What we need to see out of Omega is they have to commit to something, and they have to successfully blow somebody up, and then make it a 5v4. Because once it's 5v4, and of course protect Cogmore. This is the key to everything. If Cogmore goes down, they've got no more huge DPS. Yes, Warwick and Udyr can deal damage, but look at the item build so far. You've got tanky Udyr. He's relying on his base stats alone. And then, of course, you're looking at Warwick, who does have Phage, Sunfire Cape, and a Wit's End. But he has to be... Ooh, we're watching a AFK champion. He has to be in the mix. He has to be in front of everybody, in the center of Crew2k. And that's a risky place to be when they are 15,000 gold ahead of you. So once again, unfortunately, we settle back into the slow split pushing delayed strategy. Soraka this time around, she is wearing the Oracle's Elixir. Don't know if we have an Oracle's up for Omega. They haven't had an Oracle in a very long time. Yuria had one very early on, and I don't think it's been there for a while. And look at the vision on behalf of Crew2k. Very, very aggressive warding. They've got vision on the key entrances into the buffs. And that's really what's going to be the differentiating factor. They don't even know they're coming up so close, but nobody knows. Now, Shen is alone in this bottom lane. But, of course, he's just going to be able to pop that Stand United whenever he wants to. And it's hard. It's a difficult position to be because I say they should commit, but if they commit, there's a very strong potential for losing the fight. Stand United can save somebody, can give them that extra 500, 600 hit points, and then just be shadow dashed, taunted to focusing on Shen. So warding is going to be key. Get yourselves vision, get somebody that's a little bit out of position, get somebody that's a little bit out of the way, and then blow them up and convert that into map objectives. At this point in time, the respawn counters are going to be very, very high. And of course, by having very high respawn counters means you can convert multiple towers. You can probably even take inhibitors at this point as well. So Baron Nash is back up. We've seen a couple of pings there. There is a ward there for Omega, so that's vitally important to know when Crew2k are going to be moving up. And let's have a look at the vision here. Can we see? They see one another. Living Artillery is there. Look at the vision. Here comes Omega. They're moving forward. Now the wards are up. They block off Shen, but that's really not who you want to be focusing. Not the person you want to be hitting him. Oh, stunned so close to Nikon. Here comes Paranoia. Flash, gold card, completely locks up Anivia. Anivia's going to get egged before the fight even starts. While Anivia's egged, they've turned their attention to Max Fidelity. He steps back into the fray, takes damage from Absolute Zero, but it was so low that it was almost negated. Compliments of the Locket of Iron Solaria. Anivia goes down. That's through an egg as well. Double kill so far for... there comes the triple kill. Is Twisted Fate going to be able to do anything? Here comes Destiny. He's popping forward. What a split. Both champions moving left and right, forcing them to pick one way or the other. Nocturne is sitting on the giant Yeti while they've turned their attention to this little worm man. Yeti has got away. The Jondo's thinking about attacking. He didn't want to give away vision because Gold Card was going to lock him up. And there goes the Ichithian surprise. Kaboom! Temporary suicide bomber. Although you're dead already, so it's sort of an undead bomber, if you want to call it that. That's going to be now a free Baron buff. And the amount of damage that got landed onto Anivia. Anivia was at 10% HP from a flash, stun, wild card combination, as well as paranoia. So, yeah, okay, fair enough, there was a lot of abilities used. But what brilliant positioning and what brilliant decision-making from Twisted Fate. He knew he could pop the flash, he knew he could get up there, and yeah, it was really, really great play. So, congratulations to Crew2k. They knock out Omega Gaming in the semi-final of today's Champion League Cup. Ooh, wrong buttons. We want to go to that one. That's the one we want. So there is the final game scores. Going to leave that up for just a few seconds. I have a Crew2k on my friends list. So do not... we can stop the local recording as well.